3 years in the making, and we finally finished building my dream R34. All the late nights, stress, good days, bad days, and we honestly finally did it. We got the R34 on the road. It even made more power than I expected. But that was only for about 1 week. I was sent a letter to my mail saying that I had to present my car at an inspection station. Things from there went downhill pretty quick. We had a complete red label put on our car, which means you can't drive the car, has to be towed, the VIN number is blocked and can only be inspected and cleared through them again. Which gives us an option of one, to revert the car completely back to stock from how it was from factory, or to engineer all the modifications that were done. And I'm not going to revert the car back to stock. Morning guys, welcome back to a new video. So today we'll be dropping off next to the 34 at the workshop, and I'll give you guys a quick full rundown of everything that's been done and what's left. Yeah, so we're on our way right now. It kind of in somewhat of peak traffic-ish. Yeah, to give you guys a quick little update rundown of last week's episode with engineering the most illegal R34 in Australia. We had its first engineering inspection check. We got a full list of everything that needs to be done and fixed in order to get to the next step, which is the emissions testing, brake testing as well. So I won't kind of bore you with all the information right now, but once we go next to the 34, I'll go over everything that's been changed and had to be changed and kind of why it needed to be changed. And then we'll kind of go from there. Wiring, crash bars in, and honestly so much more sturdy now. Yeah, other than that, just gotta secure this bit better. It's coming along, not too much left, and then we can kind of book it in. But right now we're trying to reinforce this bit here, so that has to be reinforced, and we're kind of working on that, getting the metal for it, and then step by step we need the heel shield back there too. Yeah, getting there. That's all done behind there. That's where the surge tank is. That's all blocked off now and insulated. We've got to do the wiring on the battery, but man, it's coming along very well. All the intake piping and everything's taken off just because we had to, and then cleaning up here, doing what's mandatory needed for the catch can. Let's get in there. I think I might have to change this bracket as well. We've covered this. Yeah, so step by step we are getting there, cleaning up a lot of the wiring which was around here. That still needs to be done. ABS and once we start up the dash, I need to get all the OEM lights to come on. So what I mean by OEM lights is like seatbelt light, traction control, ABS, that all has to come on before the car actually starts up. So I need to do that. I need to hook up a laptop and program that through the UC10 dash. So that's something I have to do as well. But other than that, guys, I mean, you need to clean that all up, get the ABS working. But yeah, almost there. Alright, so I lost the audio for some reason in this clip, but I'm going to give you guys a voiceover. So we did change the brake master cylinder, so that we had changed as well. You guys can see we also put in the front crash bar. That's now all installed. Coming over here, I'm just talking about we're going to have to reinforce that intercooler hole which was drilled into the chassis. So anytime you drill into the car, you have to kind of reinforce that. Coming along here, a lot of the ECU wiring we have to clean up, so that's all getting done as well. Just making everything tidy, just like the engineer said, making it all presentable. I'm talking about here how I'm going to be, again, editing the UC10- layout myself. And these are the camber arms or toe arms that we also got defected for, so these need to be engineered, which it's not even a problem. I don't have to change them back to stock. We're going to get them engineered, so it's not an issue. And yeah, just coming along to the front, yeah, this is pretty much how the 34 is looking. The turbo is pretty good. We got the heat shield going on next as well, so we have the heat shield going on. A lot of the wiring is already done and cleaned up, though we still have to do a lot more cleaning of the wiring as well. So we've got a few holes in the firewall which we need to fill up. That has to still be done. And coming along here, that's our power steering pump, the Astro power steering pump, which we need to make a stronger back bracket for, which I believe we already have. I just haven't installed it yet. And that's generally about it. Alright, so now onto the battery. We've tackled the battery issue and now comply for the actual automotive practice for the wiring. The surge tank now has a drain for all the fuel to go down to where the spare tire is. All that's really left of the car is the wheel spacers. So we just have to take these wheel spacers off. We have to also still doing a lot more tidying up on the wiring. I have to still customize the UC10-, but you will see at the end of the video exactly what I've done with the UC10- and the direction that I've gone with it. We have to still seal off holes in the firewall. We also plumb back oil to air separator. We're doing that in this video, so that's what I've got in my hand right now. And we're about to go head out and get a dash 10 fitting welded onto it. Oh, look at these. Yeah, so we're just dropping off to get a fitting done for the intake, and then we start running a few other wires and cleaning up the engine bay. But yeah, just right now here to weld in a fitting for the intake. But this Evo is crazy. It's time to tack one. Got a wide body kit. Alright, yeah, we're just gonna get it welded and we'll head back to the shop. Kind of pretty good productive day. It was nice to go next to that shop and see all those Evos, and yeah, that's it. Tomorrow I'll be back and we'll pick the camera up and we'll just try to do the display. I think the best way for me to explain it is, see how I start this oil temp, so all those lead lights need to come on when I start the UC10-. So I'm probably going to have to custom place them all in there. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy the R34 OEM layout, but there's a few other dashes or lights, sorry, that's not in there. So I'm probably going to have to go Google, kind of cut it, place it. I'm going to have to do some custom work tomorrow with my laptop. So either way, I'll show you guys that process tomorrow too. So unfortunately, we couldn't go next to the R34 today, but I'll show you guys what I've been working on while I'm at home on my computer. Because one of the things that we had to do to pass the inspection was to make sure that the digital dash that we installed, the Haltech UC10, is when we turn it on, at least in the second ignition, or when the car turns on in general, it needs to show or have all the same safety lights that the R34 GTT OEM dash would have had on this one as well. And we went too far. The only thing that's kind of been tricky for me is to get the seatbelt light activated and working, which that's something I can't do from here, from the NSP Haltech software side of it. I could put the icon there, but I can't actually activate it because it's not something that's controlled by the ECU. So that just means I'm gonna have to run a wire somewhere to where when the seatbelt clicks in, it lets you know, and when seatbelt comes out, it lets you know. It's gonna be more of like a warning light when it's in and out, activated and not activated, and that's gonna have to go directly to the back of the UC10-. But in the meantime, while I've been at home, I've kind of just been playing around, and it's been something I've been needing to do for a very long time. All right, just in case you're not aware of what the R34 GTR MFD, so the stock one that comes out of an R34 GTR looks like, this is the layout here. So this is what came from factory, and this is what I've been replicating on the Haltech NSP, pretty much software. So I've done this whole thing from scratch, and here it just shows you your PSI, so boost gauge, oil pressure, ignition pressure, oil temp, coolant temperature, fuel combustion, and air temp as well. These are pretty cool, and they all work pretty well too. So let me just show you the boost gauge. So this will be, of course it'll be smoother, but this is how it's going to look like all the way up into 24 psi, which it will give a red light. And I'm still kind of playing around with it and customizing it. Along here it's just the same reading, but in a sideways format, which is very similar to how the R34 GTR is laid out and done as well, like a modern take, I guess you could say, to it. So it's kind of cool. For the actual main screen, I have this here. So it's the Nismo layout. I'm probably going to put my own speedo in here, kilometers in one of these, probably this one here, kilometers, boost gauge maybe in here, maybe like a digital speedo as well. That way, I mean, the good thing is I can customize this whole thing the way I want to do it. So I could even have digital fuel gauge here. I could have my digital speedo here. I could have all my safety lights here. I could have something else here. I could even put an RPM reader here too. So it's kind of, you know, you could do whatever you want to do with it, which is a cool thing. Is I've gone ahead and actually bought this one from Boosted International. So it already comes with preset this layout here, which I bought and I'm going to install, which is pretty cool. But the good thing is it's already done for me. A lot of the hard work is already done. And all I got to do from here is just add on to it. So this is what I have to add on. So this is the one that I'm having the most difficulty with, but I'll figure it out. And I have to do my correct kilometers on my car. Oil pressure, I can probably find a way to do a digital version of that in there, which is kind of cool. I thought while I'm at home, I might as well play around with it, play around with the UC10 layout dash. I'm probably going to do that next. I'm still just fine tweaking the IC7 one in terms of what I want to see, what I want it to read. So I do want to do my E85 mixture. So I want to see exactly my mixture up there. I want to see my 4 settings of boost. No, I have a few settings of boost, about 6 or 7 settings of boost. We'll figure it out. I want to play around with what I want to see in the smaller screen, just more database stuff. And then my main screen, I just want to have just a clean layout of a Nismo style retro look to it too. So all right, so let me show you guys. Just under here we have a new set of rims, so 4 of them. They're Enkei PF09s in the correct size that will fit inside my guard as well. And that's about it. Once we've ticked all the boxes and fixed everything that we've needed to, that the engineer told us to fix, we'll rebook it in again with the engineer again, and then he'll check everything. He'll do the brake test, emissions test, and just make sure everything's all good. And if he ticks off on it, then we've pretty much got the car engineered. And I will take you guys on that process as well. Hopefully it's a smooth process. If not, we'll have to come back and fix whatever needs to be done. And hopefully not, because each time you do get it inspected, I believe you have to pay. So it would suck that we would have to go back and forth a lot of times. It would just be a waste of money for nothing. So that's it. I give you guys a cost breakdown so far. So our first inspection was 900, and then up until now, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I believe it is, the labor has cost about 1,850, and parts up until now have been 1,500, and we're only about halfway. So together it's it's cost us all up until now $4,250, and we're about halfway. So yeah, I think it's going to crack probably around the $7,000 figure. That's about it, guys. That's a quick little update for this weekend. I'll catch you guys next weekend, where hopefully we have the reinforcement done from intercooler, a few other cleaning up of the wiring, and just a few other things too, and then we'll go from there. That's it for today's video. I'll catch you guys next week. And again, if you're very new to the channel, if you like this as well, it's pretty informative for you. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment down below. Leave a like and a subscribe would mean the world. As you guys can see, I'm probably going to be broke by the time this car's on the road. So yeah, any type of support would appreciate it. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in a future video. Peace. I'll see you then.